What's up, y'all? Listen, I know last video, I kind of started it off not like me.
What's up, you guys? Farlan here.
Really, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was just trying to sound professional, if you want to say. But anyway, man, listen, this episode here is a special one. I get to sit down with Marcus, the founder of iHope Mentoring, a real one out here giving back, mentoring young men, being a father, and being the example in his community. Now, let me be honest. I forgot the cords for my mics, so the sound gonna be a little bit off, but the mission's still the same. You know what I'm saying? So I could have scrapped it, but I'm just learning to push through and just get better and better each time. So, man, it's all a process. And while I'm figuring this all out, I just dropped the Control and Victory merch, hoodies, shirts, all designed to remind us that victory starts within. I don't really know where this brand is going just yet, but I do know the mission, and that's to help fathers and men level up. But if you believe in that, support the mission. Cop the merch. Every order fuel the vision. You can check out the link in the description. But no more talking. Let's get into the conversation with Marcus, a father, a mentor, a brother out here really making impact. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Man Listen. Real talk, real dads. And today, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
What's up, bro?
What's going on,
Marcus.
man? All right, Marcus.
iHope mentoring, man. Community. I want to say ambassador, man. Community servant.
Community servant. I like that.
Of course, a father.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say this, man. Marcus, first I want to say thank you for giving me your time today.
No problem, bro.
When I first started doing this series, having these conversations with Dad, man, you were probably one of the first ones that I had on my list to talk to.
Okay.
You know, I've been watching you doing your thing in the community for a very long time, and always was inspired by your story and how you was helping the youth. So I was like, man, I got to get this brother on here, because a lot of us men, you know, we are mentors, even though we might not say it, but a lot of the youth look up to us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So being able to reach out and help the youth and doing the things that you're doing, man, I commend you, I salute you. And even though we didn't know each other, you know, we always seen each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
mutual friends.
Yeah, and I always seen you, but I always, even when I first met you, I always felt like I knew you before. You know what I'm saying? But I always saluted you from afar, and again, I appreciate you giving me your time.
Man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so I know you're a busy man, so I'm gonna just ask you a couple questions to help our fathers level up, and you know, we'll go from there. All right. So the first question: what's something you wish more men were honest about when it comes to manhood and fatherhood?
I think more men could be more honest about reality, like what it really looks like. Because when you got that, you know, that man title or that father title, you only kind of want to show, like they say, the highlight reel. You don't want to show that you making it happen, but you know, how did you actually make it happen? You know, I went to work or whatever, you know, I saved the money, but you know, how many days did you go to work without that lunch because you was hungry?
For real.
You had to borrow $20 from your partner for gas just to get to work. And,
Wow.
you know, those things, those little small things that kind of we omit for feel ridicule. So things like that. More honesty, man, more openness about, hey, this is real.
Yeah, for real. Well, I like that, because a lot of men, we do hide everything.
Yeah,
and what they say, we suffer in silence most of the time. You know,
we just gotta pop back up and just, you know, be this strong, this man. Yeah, I did it. I made it happen, man. But when you was going through it, you was broken.
Yeah. And we try to stay strong for our families, you know, because
exactly.
if they worry and they see you worry, then that's gonna make them worry even more. So yeah, that's true, man. So next question: what advice would you give to a father who's trying to heal from his own past while trying to raise his kids right?
Man, I would say the advice I give to myself, man, is I had to first recognize what am I healing from. Like what am I actually healing from? Because, you know, did this actually cause traumatic experiences in my life where I feel like it's going to trickle over to me in fatherhood? And how I'm going to address it, is it something I can get over? So you got to first figure out like what is it that you feel like you may need to heal from, because you may not even need to heal from that, and it's something that you're overlooking, but the real trauma in your life. So just figure out what that looks like first, because you never want to. I'm never set to outdo my father or outdo my parents in general. I just want to be the best father that I could be from the world that I live in, from what I've learned. Right.
Gotcha.
Now, when it comes to certain things, I feel like I probably missed as a child. I don't know the full story behind why I may missed it. Why what sacrifice was taking place for me to get this and not that. Gotcha. So I don't look to be that in fatherhood. I just like, all right, well, I may not need to hear from the lifespan enough, because if I work and keep the bills paid, that's just something I ain't even got to introduce into the home, because they ain't even got to know about it.
Yeah, they ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, it's just certain things, because we could, while we are healing, we can bring trauma into it. Because now it's like, okay, well, I suffer this way, so you need to suffer this way, because this is how it made me.
Yeah.
So just actually kind of really figuring out what you're healing from, like what is the trauma?
Yeah.
If any.
Yeah, that's true, because our struggle is different from our kids. Our kids don't really have to. We did, like you said, healing from our trauma. Our kids didn't really have to go through the things that we probably went through, because we so focused on trying to make it different and make sure.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. I'm not one of them parents like, if I went through something, my job and like my kid is not my meal ticket. So I'm gonna raise my child, my two boys, to one day be athletes or something that's going. And I'm not knocking parents that do that, but they're not my meal ticket.
Yeah.
If I do it right, I'm their meal ticket.
Yeah. Gotcha.
At least they can take whatever I have and start whatever they want to do. So my whole goal is to say, okay, look, man, what does being a father look like? Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. What am I setting up? Because I live in an apartment, I rent. Right now, my goal is to own a home. I want my kids to play in the backyard. That's theirs. So them type of things, what I would look at, okay, that'd be my next phase. That's what, them things I'm working on. And I'm teaching them that, like, all right, it's a process in that. Like, this is how you do that, and this process may not. Their struggle is going to just be a little bit different than my struggles. But I just try to keep a healthy balance with it. Know what I came from, because if I see adversity, I've already went through it. So if I see it even look similar to something now in fatherhood, I'm gonna know an easier way to navigate it, opposed to, okay, we all struggle together and figure this out together. No, this kind of look like that, what I've been through. So I'm gonna take this on and take care of that, and then also learn, why did you end up back in this place too?
Gotcha.
So I try to learn a lot on my own, therefore they don't have to learn that, but then I teach them what I learned. You got the experiences. Like the conversation could be an experience itself.
Yeah. That's big, man. All right, next question. Now, you've done a lot of work in the community. How do you balance that level of service with being present as a father?
My family come first. My family come first, but I'm driven and my work is purposeful. So God has found a way to incorporate both for me, thank God. It's a blessing, because if I'm doing mentoring, my son can be at mentoring. He sits right with the boys. When they do their wellness checks, he has to do his wellness check too. And we're doing mentoring. I'm Mr. Marcus, I'm not Dad. And that keeps him grounded and saying, okay, this is what my dad's doing. So it's like, I'm showing you, you're able to see Dad work. You're also able to get the same lesson. So in this moment when I probably couldn't have been around you, and I'm teaching someone else's child, you read that too. So I'm teaching my child too. I don't tell my child one thing and someone else's child something else. So that's been the balance in that. If I'm doing events, I do fun stuff, or giving back. My kids love to give back, and then I just make the time for them too. So it's like, okay, well, this time I'm only gonna, this month or this week, I'm not gonna plan anything. I'm just keep that for my family.
Okay.
So it's a healthy balance. You're gonna run into times where you may be leaving an event and you gotta go to the family event. You may be running a little late or something like that. But I haven't ran into too many issues where I found conflict and like I having to split that time. Or like, man, I'm over here mentoring all of these young men, and my child ain't seen me in 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't have that balance because I'm gonna make sure that nothing else, home gonna be right. I'm gonna be present for my kids. I'm gonna make sure they know, like, when they look up, it's almost a dad. You can go chill for a couple days because we good. You gotta go to work.
Yeah, they already know what mission you're on.
Yeah, and I just make sure that they're comfortable with that because at the end of the day too, like, this is something that's gonna provide for them.
And they showing them too.
Yeah,
they seeing you working and giving back. Yeah, I know they can appreciate.
Yeah, it's a lot in it, man.
Yeah. And I know they see you I know they see how hard you work, so they probably
man.
We gonna let Daddy rest today because we already know. All right, next question. Your organization, iHope Mentoring, correct? Through iHope Mentoring, you've poured into you. How important is it for men to step up as mentors, not just for their own kids, but others?
It's huge, man. It's huge, man. Now, it's 2025. Started this program in 2018.
Wow.
So we're in year 7, and there was a point in time we had like 60 boys coming twice a week. We're around 20, 25 fluctuate between those numbers. Hundreds of boys that I went through this program in 7 years. I haven't shook hands of 20 dads. I had 20 dads. Now, we did have dads that have passed away, and that's kind of the only passed away. You can't do nothing about that. Now, we've had kids in there, dad's been killed. And then we got them, of course, in prison. Then just the absent dad. Just, I ain't dealing with my child. We don't give an excuse to the absent dad. You can't give an excuse. The excuse is limited to the dad that's incarcerated. Only because I used to be in the streets, but I didn't have kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's certain things that I won't do now because I got kids.
You
know what I'm saying? So I get the whole, doing certain things to provide for a home and comes with circumstance at times, which may include incarceration. So, like I said, it's so dependent. There's a lot of factors in that, variables or whatever. But for me to be doing it this long, I could say personally that being in a young kid's life and just giving him that conversation goes a long way because they need it, man. I don't care how strong that mom is, and she was raised with all her uncles and brothers, and grandma still there, big sister and auntie, and all these strong-willed women. They only gonna be able to give them so much. Just regardless, they only gonna be able to give them so much, man. And not even be on the vulgar side of it, but a woman can't show a young boy how to hold this thing. Just something simple as that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because they can emulate it, but they really can't show that. So that was the whole basis of me even becoming a mentor. I just became something that I needed. So now it's like, okay, I'm just a brother that ain't perfect, that I went through some things in life, and figured some things out that I could pass this on to another young man. And that's essentially it. Like, we don't have a set way, a set rule, or mentoring supposed to go this way, supposed to look like that. Take you wherever you're at in life. We've experienced it at some point. And we just go from there and just kind of give it to you. We're very transparent. We're not going to ask you something that we won't share about ourselves as well. And presence is everything, man. A lot of these kids, they get in trouble. They're not listening because it ain't a man. They're just present. And I'm talking about just present. How you doing? Good morning. Carmelo said something was an interview, and the whole Hoodie Mellow thing, and that came about pretty much him saying that growing up, he don't remember receiving a hug. It's Carmelo Anthony. You know what I'm saying? And you could think, like, how many times, or when the last time this child walked into a home, a young man, and actually got a hug and told him, "Man, I love you." Opposed to, why you ain't go to school today? Why you ain't do your homework? Why that room ain't clean? Get you over there. You look just like your dad. All those type of things. But no one just gave him a hug. So presence is everything. So go back to answer your question. I feel like it's very important, man, for any young man to You know, if you see something, like they say, see something, say something. But if you see that young man that just you looking at, you know, he just might need a 5-10 minute conversation. Give it to him. It might change his life.
Yeah.
It might save yours.
Yeah, facts. Well, that's good because a lot of sometimes people project their feelings on other people, and we always feel like we got to be perfect and we got to do this right. So if we mess up, it's like the end of the world. But that's good, man, because like you said, you learn as you go, but you also teaching what you learn, and as you go, you know you helping the youth. So that's big, man. All right, next question. What are some of the biggest challenges you see young men facing today, and how can fathers help address those in the home?
Identity crisis.
Mm.
Because it used to just be, you know, kind of knowing who you is and knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Right? But now we're in a society, and you got to call a spade, whereas not only are these young men having absent fathers in the home or absence of a male presence, they're starting to adopt this you know, the I'm a Q, I'm a yellow. I identify as orange.
Yeah.
You know, so you're battling with that, and that's all because if I never knew what a man looked like, and everything that I thought or heard of a man came in a negative sense, why would I want to be one?
Yeah, that's facts.
Mom always talking down about dad. You know, dad being abusive. You seeing all of these just different negative things in a child that scares them away. Like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Even to the sense of, it ain't got to be homosexuality, but it could be the sense of, man, every black man that I know, they grew up and the police tried to kill them or they was beaten. So I would rather be a woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to identify in a sense where I may grow up and I'm going to be another young black man that get killed to the hands of the police or racism and things like that. So what we teach our young men in the program, what I teach my sons, you got to know who you are. First, know who you are, and then know whose you are. And that's like, whose you are means who you belong to. You belong to God. So, you know, get that relationship with Him so you can actually see what you're designed to be in Him. So no matter what anybody saying, anybody, you know, because your name Robert, right?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can call you Robert all day. You don't only turn because you heard something, but you won't particularly answer to that because you know exactly, at least nothing else, you know your name.
Yeah.
If kids don't know these type of things, they'll adopt. You are this bad kid. You won't stop talking. You need to be on rhythm. You bad just like your dad. Your little gay behind. You'll learn to adopt that and then become that, or spend a lifetime trying not to become something that you never were anyway, but you just adopted what people called you that. So identity crisis is big because it's like, man, if I can't teach a young man, if I can't teach my child to embrace so-called nerd in him, you're not a nerd, you're smart. And you learn how to use your intelligence.
Yeah.
But if I don't teach him how to do that, I stifle him in life and becoming his greatest, you know, potential. I just turned him into something else when he could have been an astronaut because I didn't let him embrace that he could do math good, and that's not a problem because he's smart. Because everywhere else he go, they laughing and, oh, you think you all that? Now he don't want to be all of that. Now he go to getting his answers wrong. He ain't showing up in class, and that's all because he done adopted the wrong identity. And that's where a lot of the problem lies there. Like, take that child when you meet that child, see what that child is on, and then, you know, start to point that child in the direction, or at least put him in a room to where everything that they can kind of plug in is just other characteristics about them that are good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually looked at a video on Instagram, and the guy was like, man, y'all just don't know, y'all, what he said, y'all missing out on life trying to be too cool. Like, people try to be so cool that they don't want to experience things, or they don't want to do this and don't want to do that. So yeah, I feel that because I see a lot of people, they kind of look at the next man. It's like, you know, these kids, they look at their friend and they see they see them doing that, so they want to copy that instead of trying to do everything, experience new experiences.
Imagine that kid that's told that he's lame
Mm-hmm.
because he's not going and playing. Nothing wrong with sports, but he's not going out there to the field and playing any man.
Yeah.
He want to sit at the house, in the garage, in the parking lot. He want to play with the tires, and you know what I'm saying. That could lead him on his own auto body shop.
Mm-hmm.
This can happen quicker than him playing to the NFL or the NBA or the MLB.
Yeah.
Those type of things. So why would we, stop that?
Yeah.
But it coming from the peers, and then a lot of the adults are not going to push that agenda of, I'm not saying let my son go do, about me.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them, hey, this is what men do. This
Yeah.
is what women do.
Yeah.
Find out who you are as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
men
important.
go that route.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
That with the identity, man. Start with that.
Yeah. My son, we took him to, he's 9 years old. We took him to Top Golf.
Mm-hmm.
We playing golf, and first he was kind of like, oh, I don't want to play no golf because all we know is what, basketball, football,
Exactly.
And man, this joker ended up beating all of us in golf.
It may be something that you may find interesting.
Exactly. And after we left there, that's something he said. He was like, I like golf, even though Top Golf is a little different than actually playing golf, but it put something in his head like, you know what? Man. I might like playing golf,
It's a lot of long driving.
Yeah.
But the world champion is long driving right here, Maurice Allen.
Yeah.
Pine Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just imagine that could be the next one that just started, your son started at Top Golf just, you know what I'm saying? It happens like that, but it's all about creating that identity.
Yeah. Because if he kept that in his head, like, I don't want to do golf, he wouldn't experience that. And then what the hell come back, All right. I got one more question, and then we're going to finish off with a finish the sentence question. All right. What do you want your children or the young men you mentor to say about you when they're grown?
If the first thing I think that I would want them to either recognize is that there is a presence of the Lord in the world. Mm-hmm. Because at some point I'm not going to be here. And who do they go to, or what do they revert back to from the things that I've taught? Right? I'm a resource, right? I'm a resource from the source.
Yeah.
So if they could learn anything from me, it's how to get back to the source. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then what God would do for them is just provide other resources that tap back into the things that they learn. So I'm just like, look at me and understand that there's a presence of the Lord in the world. And then the second thing that is that now they could become someone that genuinely cares, because you had a person that genuinely cared. Mm-hmm. Become that person. Whatever you've seen in Mr. Marcus or learned in Mr. Marcus, and Mr. Marcus care about me. All right, will you go reciprocate that? Go get that to someone, and just go find one or two people just to genuinely care about. Yeah. And see what it do for you. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think that's how I want to be remembered with these young men, because if they could take those two pieces, they'll go far in life.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. So this is the last question. Well, not really a question. It's pretty much, I'm going to say a phrase, and then you just finish the sentence, however you feel. Okay. All right? So, finish the sentence. A real man.
Praise. Real man praise. You gotta know where the source at. Yeah. Don't think you is in your mic. So, yeah, real man praise.
Yeah, that's big. That's big, man. Marcus, again, man, appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you.
Let me give you a shout out too, brother, because you're a father, man. You can tell you stand by it. And as a mentor, I always love to see a father, because when you don't be a father, I ain't know with your kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But on the real, man, keep on that, man. Keep that family atmosphere, man. They be dressing alike, looking good, man. Nah, that's brother. Listen, you know who you are. Yeah. You know who you are. You know what you like, what you don't like. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, you're still figuring those things out, and you pushing up into the family, and it's showing in your family. No family is perfect, man, but we can get close to what we need out of it.
Yeah.
We're doing it the right way, man.
Yeah.
So congratulate you too.
Yeah, man. And it takes men like you, men like us, to show other men, help other men level up. Because not only is the youth looking up to you, it's other men that's looking at you and seeing what you're doing and being inspired by what you're doing. And not only you helping the youth out, you helping men, you helping women, families, everybody, you know. So I commend you for what you're doing. Let everybody know how to follow you and how can they support iHope Mentoring.
Everything, iHope Mentoring, Facebook, Instagram, the 2 platforms we got, website, www.ihopementoring.com. Yeah, come check us out, man. Come see what we got going on. You want to come mentor, you want to come volunteer, you want to be a fly on the wall and, you know, figure out a way you want to support us, man. Just tap in, come do it, man. Men, continue to show up. We always got doors open to come speak to the young boys, come mentor them, come on a field trip with them, whatever it is. Parents that's in need of services, come on. If they can get there, they can join. And we got space, which we always got space, you can bring them. But yeah, try us out, man. I'm thankful again. God be the glory for all things, and we're going to keep on serving.
All right. Well, that's the end of another episode of Man Listen. Real talk, real dads. I see y'all on the next episode. Appreciate that, brother. Yes, sir, man. And hey, man, whenever you need me.